What's going on, guys? Nate Dogg here, and today we'll be going over my Dragonknight tank for the Elder Scrolls Online Greymoor patch, the Paladin of Akatosh. But before we get into it, if you guys would, please take a moment of your time, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so that way you guys can stay notified for this build of updates or any other of my content that I drop on YouTube. You could also then go over to Twitch and follow me there. I will be doing streams on Dungeon Dailies, usually on Veteran difficulty. So, without further ado, let's dive into the build. Starting off in our character sheet. Max Magicka is sitting at 17,600. Max Health sitting at 41,700. Max Stam is sitting at 21,400, with Magicka Recovery at 1,500. Health Recovery sitting at 1,100. And Stam Recovery sitting at 1,000. Our spell damage is sitting at 1,100, with spell critical at 19%. Weapon damage is at 1,100, with weapon critical sitting at 20%. Our spell resistance is at 27,300. Physical resistance is at 24,800, with critical resistance at 1,300 on our front bar. We go over to our back bar. Our spell resistance drops to 27,000. Physical resistance drops to 24,600. Now, buffing up our guy here. On the front bar, our Magicka Recovery goes to 1,700. Health Recovery goes to 1,200. Stam Recovery at 1,200, with our weapon damage at 1,300. And then on our back bar, all the recoveries and weapon damage stay the same. Attributes. I put 64 points into health. The reason for this is, yes, I know I'm well aware that my health is sitting at 41,000, way above what is recommended for doing PVE content for dungeons and stuff. The reason for this is because my guild requires me to tank on trials with at least 40k health, so this is why I have so many points into there. If you so desire, you can throw points into Magicka and Stam to up those a little bit, to kind of have them a little bit bigger pool, if you so desire. Wonder stones I have active, I am using the Lord. The reason for this is because with 64 points into health, I didn't have enough health to hit my requirement of 40,000 points of health for trials for our guild, so that's why I put points in the Lord. If you want to, you can put more into the recoveries if you so desire, more into the stam if you want to. You can even put it into weapon damage to increase more weapon damage output for this build. So, moving on over into our skills. Starting with our front bar. First ability that we have is in the Draconic Power. It is the second ability to unlock. Starts off as Dark Talons. You want to then morph it to Choking Talons. This has a 6-meter radius around us, so we are the target location. That deals 2,700 magic damage to enemies near us and immobilizes them for 4 seconds. So this will be our CC, or crowd control, that we will be using for this build. We have another one that I will be going over in a little bit. We hit enemies with this to inflict minor maim on them, so this will reduce the damage that they do by 15% for 10 seconds. Big thing here that why we want to use this is because by reducing their damage done, it now allows our DPS, who are very squishy half the time, to actually be able to take a little bit of a hit. And so for us also, we don't take as much damage either, so we don't have to heal as much, and healers don't have to heal us as much as well. This is also a synergy that allies can ignite the enemy, dealing 5,000 magic damage to the enemies that are held within the Talons. Going over into our next ability that we have, it is in the One-Handed and Shield skill line. It is the second ability to unlock. Starts off as a low slash. We then morph it to Heroic Slash. This has a 7-meter range. We deal 2,600 physical damage and afflict them with minor maim. Now, Nate, you have minor maim on both of them. They do not stack. Yes, they do not stack because they're both minor maim, but this is just a key thing that we have on it. But that is why we end up not going with the other morph of Deep Slash on this, because Deep Slash would also be an area. So then by using your Dark Talons, you're just kind of stacking and you're losing potential there. So that's why we end up going Heroic Slash, because Heroic Slash will gain us minor heroism, granting us one ultimate every 1.5 seconds for 12 seconds. That's why we went with the Heroic Slash and not the Deep Slash there. Over into the next ability that we have, it is back up into the Adriatic Flame skill line. It is the fourth ability to unlock, starts off as Fiery Grip. We then morph it to Unrelenting Grip. This has a 22 meter pull. This will be to pull adds to us during a fight. This will also deal 2,200 flame damage when it hits the target. It does not need to pull in order to do that damage, so you can actually cast this to actually cause some damage. This also grants us Major Expedition, increasing our movement speed by 30% for 4 seconds. If a target cannot be pulled to you, we restore 100% of the ability's cost as magic, so this is pretty much a free cost. If you have somebody who is CC'd or crowd control and you cannot pull them, this is a good way. You'll still get your magic back, so you will not lose your magic, unlike Silver Leash in the Undaunted skill line, where if the character or enemy is CC, you can still fire a Dawnguard bolt at him and you will lose your stam for it. This attack can also not be dodged or reflected. Next ability that we have is in the Undaunted skill line, or Fighters Guild skill line, I should say. It is the second ability to unlock, starts off as Circle of Protection. We then morph it to Turn Evil. This is a protective rune at our location that protects us for 20 seconds. Us and our allies gain minor protection and minor endurance, which reduces their damage taken by 8% and increases their stam recovery by 10%. So allies can actually step into this circle and get some stam back for it. So we are providing a little bit of stam for our stam-based DPS that are going to end up close to us in fights, and we're also going to protect them a little bit by activating this. Upon activation, enemies in the area are feared for 5 seconds. So this is our other CC that we have. So how we want to play this about, let me go over here and show you real quick. So usually in a target, I'm just going to say this target Skullnoid are usually your melee fighters. We have the precursor sitting in the background, which is usually your rain fighter. So what I tend to do in most battles is I usually run up to the group, throw down this protective thing, so for 5 seconds he is going to be CC'd or crowd controlled. He's going to be feared. So then, during the duration that he is feared, or any of the enemies are feared, what you want to do is you want to use your Unrelenting Grip and pull him in. I can't pull him in because due to him being a target dummy, I can't pull him, but that's what you want to do, is you want to then pull him into the group. Pull as many as you can during the duration of this fear. When you get this fear, when the fear is getting close to up, so about at like 4 seconds, what you'll want to then do is then you'll want to use your Dark Talons, because you see that cloud? Everybody that's in that cloud is going to be gripped. That way, and also have their damage reduced. So that is why we will start the fight with our Turn Evil ability. They're feared for 5 seconds, Unrelenting Grip to pull your adds in, and then Dark Talons to then pin everybody down. So it gives the DPS more time to actually nuke down the enemies with this style of play. Moving on to the last ability that we have, it is back up into this one-handed and shield skill line. It is the first ability to unlock, starts off as Puncture. We then morph it to Pierce Armor. This deals 2,100 physical damage and taunts the enemy to attack us for 15 seconds. This is our close range taunt that we will be using. Reason why we went with this morph is because this applies Major Fracture and Major Breach to reduce the physical resistance and spell resistance by 5,200 for 15 seconds on the target. If we went with the other morph, yes, we would not have to have the Turn Evil effect because we'd actually get protection. But we end up going this route is so that way we get Major Breach, so we can actually help your Magicka DPS actually end up doing a little bit more damage. If you know that you're running with no DPS that is Magicka based, then by all means you can then just go with the other morph. But this is why I run with it, because I tend to run with Magicka based DPSs, so that's why I run with it. Because by reducing the enemy's physical and spell resistance by 5,000, your DPS are also going to hit a lot harder. Every enemy in the game has 18,200 physical and spell resistance, so this is a very key factor of why the lower you get their resistance, the stronger you guys are going to hit for your DPS. Now, moving over into the ultimate that we are using. It is in the Earth and Heart ability skill line. Starts off as Magma Armor, we then morph it to Magma Shell. This lasts for 12 seconds for a low cost of 200 ultimate. This limits the incoming damage to us for 3% of our max health and deals 555 flame damage to nearby enemies for each second for 12 seconds. Upon activating, nearby allies gain a damage shield that grants them 108% of their max health for 10 seconds. So by applying this, we're now going to let our allies be fully protected so they don't take damage. So these are for like key things if you need to use it. Another ultimate I would probably suggest if you do not want to use that one is down in the one-handed shield skill line. Starts off as Shield Wall, then morph it to Shield Discipline. This one only has 135 ultimate, and we automatically block all of our attacks with no cost for 7 seconds. Also, our one-handed shield abilities cost nothing while this effect persists, so we are able to cast our Heroic Slash and Pierce Armor at no cost. And also automatically block all of attacks at us that are close to range for the 7 seconds. Sometimes you will need these in the harder DLC dungeon, so I would recommend also getting this if your group is okay with you not running Magma Shell. So, over into our back bar. First ability that we have is down into the Undaunted skill line. It is the first ability to unlock, starts off as Blood Altar. We then morph it to Overflowing Altar. This applies minor life steal to enemies within the 28 meter radius that heals us and our allies for 190 health every 1 second when we are damaging. So your allies will need a damage and you'll end up giving them health back if you have this placed on the ground. This is also a synergy that allies in the area can activate. Blood Feast synergy to heal them for 65% of their max health. So, give a big ton of health back and also get health back by damaging. This is a very important thing to have for the group. Either you or the healer run it, but I just slot this because I don't need some other abilities on my bar. Next ability that we have is in our Draconic Power, I believe. Yes, it is. It is the third ability to unlock. Starts off as Dragon Blood. We then morph this to the Green Dragon Blood. This has a 23-second duration. This draws the Draconic Blood to heal us for 37% of our missing health. So the less amount of health that we have, the more bigger heal this is going to be, because this is going to be 30% of whatever we're missing in our health. So the bigger health pool, the more health we're actually going to get back from this ability. This also grants us major fortitude, major endurance, and minor vitality, increasing our health recovery, stamina recovery by 20%, and healing received by 8% for the 23 seconds. So we're getting stamina back from this when we cast it. We're also getting health back while we cast it, and we're also going to have more healing done to us when we have this cast. Though this is our snap heal. So most of the time we do not just want to cast this out because 4,000 magicka is quite a bit. So this is more so in the need of when we actually really need that healing to keep us alive. This is our snap healing. So next ability that we have is in the Earth and Heart ability. It is the third ability to unlock. Starts off as Obsidian Shield. We then morph it to Igneous Shield. This has an 8-second duration on us. This grants a damage shield for nearby allies that absorb 3,800 damage. Our own damage shield absorbs 9,600 damage. This portion is based off our max health, so since our health is a little higher, we're going to have bigger shields that we give to our allies and ourselves. So just letting you know, if you do change some things with your health, you're not going to have the same amount, or if you put more points in, have more health, then you're going to actually have more than what I have. We also gain Major Mending, increasing our healing done by 25% for 3 seconds. So, big key thing here is, when you are lower in health and you need to cast your Green Dragon Blood skill, you will first want to cast your Igneous Shield, because Major Mending will increase the healing done by 25%. So you'll cast this, so our healing done to us is actually more. I can see this, so let's see if we can show you this. 46% of our missing health is what we get, instead of what it was before of 37. So, that is why we cast Igneous Shields, and then cast the Green Dragon Blood. Because we're going to increase the missing health by 46% and not a flat 37%. So, moving on into our next ability that we have is in the One-Handed Shield skill line. It is the third ability to unlock. Starts off as a defensive posture, we then morph it to defensive stance. This is a 6 second. This grants us a damage shield that absorbs 14,000 damage for 6 seconds. This is also based off of our max health. The key, yes, I know we have Igneous Shields that give us a damage shield. This is another way to get a damage shield, but the main reason I actually have this on this bar is actually not for this. Granted, we can reflect the next harmful direct damage projectile that's cast at us, but while we have a shield equipped, the amount of damage we can block is increased by 10%, and the cost of blocking is reduced by 10%. So, we can block more damage with this ability slotted, and we also reduce the cost of blocking by 10%, so we actually keep our stam pool going a lot better. This is why I usually equip this. If you don't want to equip this, because I know some of you guys are saying, we're getting close to the end, and I don't see anything that's actually giving you major resolve. The reason I don't run major resolve is because one of the sets I run actually give me more physical and spell resistance, and sitting at that 27,000 physical and spell resistance that I was sitting at, and 24,600. 24,600 may be on a little bit of the low spectrum, but like I said, I have one of my sets actually increases our physical and spell resistance. So when it increases, it actually ends up hitting over to 27,000, which is perfectly good enough for any content in the game to run. So that's why I don't have any major resolve out there. But however, if you want to, you can go look into the Draconic power. If you want to, you guys can start with the first ability with Spike Armor, morph it to Hardened Armor. This is going to increase your physical and spell resistance by 5,000 for 20 seconds, and also you'll get a damage shield for this too. And this is also based off your max health. This is why I would maybe probably go with this one. And we also end up doing damage to enemies who hit us with direct damage attacks for 639 magic damage. Or if you really want to, you can go down into the heavy armor skill line, go with Unstoppable, morph it to then Unstoppable Brute. This will also give you the major resolve, so increasing your physical and spell resistance by 5,200 for 20 seconds. It also reduces the cost of breaking free by 5% for each piece of heavy armor worn. And you also gain immunity to knockback and disabling effects for 6 seconds, but during that duration you also reduce your movement speed by 65%, so just be aware of that if you end up going with this morph to get your major resolve, that for 6 seconds you end up moving a lot slower. Another abilities that you can use too is in the Earth and Heart ability. It is the second ability to unlock. Starts off as a Molten Weapon, you then morph it to Igneous Weapon. This reaches out to 36 meter area to buff up you and your allies Major Brutality and Major Sorcery, which increases your weapon and spell damage by 200% for 54 seconds. So this is a long duration, but yes, at a hefty cost of 4,200 magicka. So moving on into the last ability that we have, it is down in the Undaunted skill line. It is the third ability to unlock. Starts off as Inner Fire. We morphed it then to Inner Beast. This is our ranged taunt. You will kind of want to range taunt just because, like, say, Imperial City Prison is a very good example. During the Lord Warden fight, the final boss on there, you got 4 shades. Instead of running around losing your stam, you can actually hit all 4 of those shadows with our Inner Beast here to taunt them to attack you, so that way our DPS and healer can do their jobs and get down the shadows for us. By taunting them, our attacks us for 15 seconds. We also deal 2,100 physical damage to them, and enemies take 5% more damage from us when we attack them. Allies can also use Radiating Synergy, dealing 3,300 magic damage to them over 3 seconds. And then an additional 4,000 magic damage to them and nearby enemies. This only has a 15% chance to actually activate, so your range targets will have to be very quick at activating this synergy. Over into the ultimate we are using on this one, it is down in the Assault skill line. Starts off as Warhorn, you will then morph it to Aggressive Warhorn. This is an ultimate cost of 250, lasts for 30 seconds. This will increase our group members' max magicka and max stam by 10% for 30 seconds. It will also increase ours as well. And us and our allies also gain major force, increasing their critical damage by 15% for 9 seconds. So this is why this is a very key thing. If actually when I have this leveled up, it'll actually be 10 seconds, but this is a very nice thing to actually help your DPS actually do a lot more damage in boss fights. So this is a crucial thing to have. Usually a tank or a healer is running this. In trials, usually a couple people are running this, so that's why I would recommend getting this. If you don't have this, then you can switch it again with, like I said, you can either then put Shield Discipline here, or you can put Magma Shield here. Either or will work. And then on the front bar, either or, again, if you do not want to run Aggressive Warhorn, or do not have it quite yet. Now, going over into passives that we have. Starting at the very top with our Adriatic Flame skill on. First one we have is Combustion. Increase the damage of our burn and poison status effect by 50%. When we apply burn to an enemy, we restore 500 magicka, and when we apply poison to an enemy, we restore 500 stam. So, if you burn them, get 500 magicka back. If you apply poison, you get 500 stam back. Very good things to have. Warmth is our next one. When we deal direct damage with an Adriatic Flame ability, you reduce the enemy's movement speed by 30% for 30 seconds. Our Unrelenting Grip is a direct damage, so we will reduce the enemy's movement speed by 30% for 3 seconds when we pull them in. Searing Heat, this increases the damage over time of our Fiery Breath, Searing Strike, and Dragonknight standard abilities by 33% and the duration by 4 seconds. You don't have to get this unless you plan on using some of these other abilities in here. World and Ruin, this increases our damage of our flame area effects abilities by 6% and decreases the cost of our stam poison abilities by 25%. Like again, same with Shearing Heat and World and Ruin if you're using some more of these abilities here that are AoE based or flame abilities, then that's why you'll do it. Unrelenting Grip is a flame ability, that's why we're getting a 6% more damage there. Next ability we have or passive we have is Iron Skin. This increases the amount of damage you can block by 10%. It's a very good thing, makes this a lot more tankier. Burning Heart, with a Draconic Power ability is active, our healing received is increased by 12%. So whenever we activate our Green Dragon Blood, we are actually going to end up getting more healing health recovery done to us for just activating it, or when we activate Choking Thorns. Talons. Elder Dragon, this increases our health recovery by 5% for each Draconic ability slotted. We have one on the front bar, and we have one on the back bar. That is why I have one on each bar, so that way our health recovery is still staying at a constant state, because if you end up putting both of them on one bar, you're going to go from 10% to 0%, so this is why I at least have one on each bar. This also increases the range of our melee attacks by 2 meters, so that's why you see like my Deep Slash and all that, or Heroic Slash I should say, and Pierce Armor is at a 7-meter range, because this only afflicts on instant cast attacks with a 5-meter range. That's why I can puncture people a lot further than other tanks can. Scale Armor, this increases our spell resistance by 3,300, so that's why our spell resistance is a lot higher than our physical resistance. Next passive we have in the Earthen Heart is Down into the Internal Mountain. This increases the duration of our Earthen Heart abilities by 20%. That is why our Igneous Weapon can last so long, and then our Igneous Shields also last for 8 seconds as well. Battle Roar. When we use an ultimate ability, we restore 52 health, 46 magicka, and 46 stam for each point of ultimate cost. So, if you would let this run all the way up to 500 ultimate, you get 500 ultimate, for each point of that ultimate, you get 52 health, 46 magicka, and 46 stamina. A very, very powerful resource for a tank. This is the main thing you will want to try to get for your tank, is this battle roller. Such a great passive to have in any Dragonknight build. Highly recommend to get it, because even 250 ultimate, that is still a lot of magicka, stam, and health coming back to us. Over to the next one, we have Mountain's Blessing. When we cast an Earth and Heart ability, we gain our group's minor brutality for 20 seconds, increasing our weapon damage by 10%. So that is why my weapon damage went up to 1,300 when I cast an Earth and Heart ability, is because I get this. Now, let's say if we would decide to use igneous weapons, we end up now giving our group now minor brutality and major brutality, so we're increasing their weapon damage by a lot. That is why we end up wanting to use that if you want to. Of course, right now I'm not using it because I am using defensive stance instead of using igneous weapons. But if you want to, that's what you can use there instead to give your group also. Also, if you are in combat, you also generate 3 ultimate, and this effect can occur once every 6 seconds. So, roughly every 6 seconds, we'll want to apply our igneous shield, so that way we generate 3 ultimate as well. Helping Hands. When we cast a non-stam cost Earth and Heart ability, we restore 990 stam. Since this is not a stam-based ability, we'll run a little bit. Or we'll just cast an ability. Here we go. If we cast this, we're going to get stam back for casting that. We'll get 990 stam whenever we cast our igneous shield. So this helps us with a little bit of recovery as well. Next passive we have is in the one-handed shield skill line. We have Fortress. This reduces the stam cost of our one-handed shield abilities by 15% and reduces the cost of our blocking by 36%. Sword and Board. This increases the weapon done by 5% and the amount of damage we can block by 20%. So these are things, both of these will end up helping us with blocking. This reduces the cost of blocking. This will help us block for more. Along with our Iron passive that we have. Also, that's now an additional 10% there. And then our ability here, Defensive Stance, will also give us an additional 10% there. So now we're already at 40% more damage we can block. Granted, there's a calculation that goes into this mitigation, but that just adds into the mitigation, so it makes it a lot more tankier and easier to block more. It's not a flat 40% right there. I apologize for that. It is actually a mathematical thing that you have to consider into it, but just by adding those into it, we're ending making ourselves mitigate more damage. Deadly Bash is our next one. Improve our standard bash attacks, causing them to deal 1,500 more damage and cause 40% less stam. Deflected Bolt. This increases the amount of damage we can block from projectiles and ranged attacks. So this is from magicka based and also bows and arrows. We're going to now block more damage from them as well. Battlefield Mobility. This reduces our movement speed penalty from bracing by 36%. So bracing is when we're holding our shield and we have the blocking symbol and how fast we actually walk like this. Over into our next passive we have is in the light armor. First one we have is Grace. This reduces the effectiveness of snares applied to us by 4% and reduces the cost of sprint by 3%. We are only wearing 1 light. We are doing a 5-1-1 ratio, so 5 heavy, 1 light, 1 medium. So as we go through the passives, that's why you'll see the bonuses, why they are sitting where they are at. Advocate. This increases our magicka recovery by 4% for each piece of light armor and reduces the cost of magicka abilities by 2%. Spell Warden. This increases our spell resistance by 363. Over into medium armor, we have Dexterity. This increases our weapon critical by 328. Windwalker. Increase our stam recovery by 4% and reduce the cost of stam abilities by 2%. Then we go over into Athletics. Yes, this ain't ranked up. If it was ranked up, it would actually increase our movement speed bonus of sprint by 4% and reduce the cost of roll dodge by 4% as well. We cannot take agility because that is a 5-piece, and improve sneak if you want to. You can put points here if you want to add flavor to your build, but I see no purpose in it really, so that is why I did not put any points there. Over into the heavy armor, we have resolve here. This increases our physical and spell resistance by 1,800. Constitution, this increases our health recovery by 4%, or 20% I should say, and we also restore 541 magic and stamina whenever we take damage for each piece of heavy armor equipped. This effect though can only occur once every 4 seconds, so during the fight, every 4 seconds when we get hit, we're actually going to get magic and stamina back. Juggernaut, this increases our max health by 10%. Relievation, this increases our magic and stamina of our heavy attacks restored by 25%, so this will only be on our sword and board skill line. Since we are using swords, that we will only be getting stamina back. Rapid Bedding, this increases our healing received by 8%. Very key thing, the more healing received we get, the more heal potents from the healers are going to be, and the more health we're going to get back. In Soul Magic, if you want to, you can go down here and actually get Soul Summon. This allows you to revive once every hour without spending a Soul Gem. Very nice thing to have to keep you and save you on Soul Gems. Fighter's Guild, the only passive I have here is Intimidating Presence. This reduces the cost of our stamina abilities by 15%, and this is for pretty much for questing purposes, for allow us to intimidate NPCs in conversation. We should probably get some points here because we do have on our front bar increase our weapon damage done by 3% for Minor Slayer. If you want to, you can use Banish of the Wicked to generate up to 9 ultimate. That way, whenever you're killing Undead Daedra or Werewolf, off the small chance we do, we might as well get 9 ultimate for doing it. And since most of your dungeon content do have a lot of Undead Daedra and Werewolf, this is probably a very good skill to have as well. Over in the Mage's Guild, again, I just only have Persuasive Will because this is only for questing purposes. If you want to, this allows you to persuade the NPCs in conversations in your questings. Over in the Undaunted, you will want to get these as fast as you possibly can. Undaunted Command, this allows you, whenever activating an ally synergy, restore 4% of your max health, stam, and magicka. So we get 1,900 health back, 856 stam back, and 706 magicka back for those synergies that we use. Undaunted Metal, this increases our max health, stam, and magicka by 2% per type of armor wearing. So at least a heavy, at least 1 medium, and at least 1 light. And we are wearing those, so that's why we get 6% bonus here. So my builds compared to other people's build, if you do not have Undaunted Metal, that is why my stats are sitting where they are at. Because I'm at least wearing 1 heavy, medium, and light, so I'm getting a 6% bonus from each of those things. Race, if you couldn't tell already, I am the Nord. Other good races you guys could use here is an Imperial, is really good for the recovery rate. You also have Argonian that will give you some resistance and give you some base magicka and health. Also, one other passive they have is potions. Whenever they use potions, they get 4,000 of each resource back. That would be stam, magic, and health. So those are also a very good choice. You can also use an Orc. Orc does very well. Or like I said, any other race would actually work, but a lot of your skills are going to end up changing compared to mine if you are not running the Nord skills. Like I said, any race can be it. Very good races to pick besides the Nord are the Imperial, Argonian, and Orc. So, moving into the Nord skills, we have Resistance to Frost. This increases our max health by 1,000 and cold resistance by 2,300. And we also gain the immunity from chill status effects. Something very just kind of little flavor there, but the max health is the real reason why we want this. Stalwart, this increases our max stam by 1,500. So, very good for stam because we need stam a lot in a tank because stam is what's going to knock our blocking down if we are not blocking, or if we are using block, stam is going to be used when we take hits. Also, when we take damage, we gain 500 ultimate. This effect can occur once every 10 seconds, so every 10 seconds you're going to get an additional 5 ultimate every 10 seconds. So this is a very good ultimate build right here. We are going to get ultimate, and we're going to get ultimate pretty fast in this build. Rugged, this increases our physical and spell resistance by 3,900. So again, this is why I also chose the Nord, because we're getting more physical and spell resistance to help us be a lot easier of a tank for new people out there or experienced players. Next thing we will want is in the alchemy, the very thing you want to have. I cannot stress it enough. Get medicinal use. Whenever you use potions, result effect lasts 30% longer. I will show you later why this is so important and why this comes in, because at base level, your potions last for 36 seconds. Cooldown is 45 seconds on a potion. We'll get into why medicinal use is very important when I get to the potions, because I got 3 points out of 3 points here. Next thing you'll want is then in the provisioning. I end up getting 3 points out of 3 in gourmet here, because this adds 20 minutes to the duration of any eaten food. I'm using food, so that's why I want here. If you so desire and end up wanting more recovery and end up going to a drink, then you will want Concierge. Concierge will add 20 minutes to the duration of any consumed drink. However, being a Nord on top of it, one of the passives I forgot to mention is Reliever. This increases the duration of any consumed drink by 15 minutes. So your drinks will literally last you for basically almost about 3 hours. This is why this is important. It will actually last you 2 hours and 30 minutes. But anywho, going into the stuff I am wearing and equipping for slottable items, I am using the Bewitched Skulls. This increases max health by 4,600, max stam and max magicka by 4,200, and health recovery by 462 for 2 hours. This is a very nice thing to get, very potent thing to get. This also can be very expensive to get your hand on, so I understand if you don't want it. Very good thing. Backup one you could use is the Crown Fortified Meal. Yes, your max health, max magicka, and max stam ain't as high as what the Bewitched Sugar Skulls are, and you also don't get health recovery, but like I said, if it's coming to how much it costs you, you will do just fine with Crown Fortified Meals. If you don't have any Crown Fortified Meals, because this is a daily login, if you don't have it, then I would then suggest get the Long Fin Pasty and Melon Sauce, because that is exactly the same thing as our Crown Fortified Meal. Over in the potions I am using the Crown Tri Restoration Potions. This restores the 9,600 health, 7,500 magicka and stam, and we also grant us Major Fortitude, Major Intellect, and Major Endurance, which increases our health, magicka, and stam recovery by 20% for 47 seconds. This is where medicinal use comes in. Like I said, if you have no points in medicinal use, you'll have a 36-second uptime with a 45-second cooldown. So that means you have to wait 9 seconds in order to pop your potion to get yourself Major Fortitude, Major Intellect, and Major Endurance. But now I have medicinal use. Now I have 100% uptime of Major Recovery. This is why medicinal use is important. If you do not have Crown Tri Restoration Potions that are in dailies that you get for logging in, then go with this Tripod. Essence of Health is what it's called. This does the exact same thing, except the health recovery by 20% lasts for 52 seconds instead of only 47 seconds. Over into the weapon I am wearing. I have the Axe of Yellowcrin with the Crusher's Enchantment. This is to reduce the target's physical and spell resistance by 900 for 5 seconds. I do have the Infused trait here. There are other traits you can choose so desire. You can go Defending, you can go Decisive if you want to get more ulti-gen. But I went Infused on this one to increase the weapon enchantment effect by 25 and reduce the enchantment cooldown by 50%. The Claw of Yellowcrin set. This gives us 1,100 max health. We also gain Minor Ignis at all times, so that also reduces the damage we take from dungeon trials and arena monsters by 5%, so making us a lot more tanky. It also adds more stam. We use stam when blocking and casting a lot of our abilities. And for the fifth piece bonus is when we taunt an enemy, you give yourself and 11 other group members Minor Courage for 15 seconds, increasing our weapon spell damage by 129. This effect can occur once every 8 seconds. So, keep your taunts up, the more damage your group is going to do. This is why I run this set. I will go into a list of other sets you can use also. We are running the Yellowcrin Shield. We went max stam enchantment because stam is very important. We want reinforced to increase the armor value by this by 16%. On our back bar, our weapon that we have is Yellowcrin's Mace. We went with the weakening enchantment. This is to reduce the target weapon's damage and spell damage by 160 for 5 seconds. We have sharpen on this. I will want to end up changing this. Like I said, it'll end up either being a fuse again, or it'll end up being decisive or defending if I want to be a little bit more tankier, but I do have my resistance sitting at a good point. So this just allows us to penetrate a little bit more and actually do a little bit more damage. Like I said, you guys can change the trait, that's up to you. On the shield, we end up going again with max stam enchantment on this, so when you switch from one bar to the other bar, your stam doesn't really drop. We end up going with a sturdy because we want to reduce the cost of blocking by 4% on top of our defensive stance. We end up getting 10% more there, so we're reducing the cost of block already by 14% now on that bar. Over to the apparel. Monster Hell I am wearing the Lord Warren Dusk. We end up going to max stam enchantment on this with infused trait because this is one of our larger pieces. Your larger pieces are the head, the chest, and the legs, so that is why we end up going with the fused on this. We went max stam enchantment on it, and the Lord Warren set is this already gives us 1,400 armor, and when we take damage we have a 50% chance to summon a shadow orb for 10 seconds that increases our physical and spell resistance to us and our allies within 8 meters of it by 3,069. This effect can occur once every 10 seconds, so it's up for 10 seconds and down for 10 seconds, so up 100% of the time, because most likely is you're going to get damage. If you got 3 guys attacking you, it's 50% per target, so there you go. You have very good chances of actually making this thing proc. Over in the chest, this chest is part of the Internal Vigor set. We went max health enchantment on this because, again, like I said earlier, I needed to hit roughly 4,000 for my guild for trials, so this is why I ended up putting max enchantment here, and it is one of our bigger pieces here. This will add 1,031 max health, and the infused trait on this one, we probably would want to actually go with reinforce, because reinforce will actually increase the armor value of this, but like again, infused or reinforce is a good option. The Internal Vigor set gives us, for 2 pieces we get 124 magicka recovery, 3 pieces we get 124 stam recovery, 4 pieces we get 124 health recovery, and for 5 pieces we add 1,357 max health, and also we add 325 stam and magicka recovery while our health is above 50%. We add 976 health recovery while our health is 50% or less. So meaning is, if we look at our character sheet right now, my health recovery is sitting at 1,100. If I would use Blood Altar, and we're going to now get myself way below 50% health. And now look at our character sheet. Our health recovery jumps up to 2,300 health recovery. Yes, our stam recovery is really low, and our magicka recovery drops down to 1,100, but the lower our health is going to be, the harder it's going to kill after 50%. This is why I am running this set. Such a big thing to have there is that amount of recovery is insane. So it makes you a lot harder to kill when you end up falling below that 50% health. Yes, you're going to have to be careful about casting abilities and all that, because you're not going to have as much stam and magicka recovery at that point. But this is why I am running this set. Other sets you can run Eben for your guys' group. This will add max health to you, another set of max health, give you more healing taken by 4%, and this will also increase the max health of you and 11 group members by 965, who's ever within 28 meters of you. You can run that. Another very good set you guys can run too is the leeching set. Leeching plate will end up giving you max health, 1,100 max health. You'll get 4% healing taken. Again, another max health. And for 5 pieces, whenever you take damage, you have a 20% chance to summon a cloud of leeching poison under the assailant The cloud deals 1,100 poison damage every 1 second for 5 seconds and heals you for 100% of the damage caused. A cloud can be created once every 5 seconds, so can proc it a lot quicker. Yes, 20% ain't a high proc, but it's still pretty good when you're considering that you're, let's say, fighting 3 guys again. Like I said, it's 20% for each of those 3 guys, so very good chance to get it. So these are the sets I would recommend to run. Monster Realm, if you don't have the Lord Warrior and don't have access to it, you can run a completely other ones, like the Mighty Chodden, if you want to have armor, and then just have Major Resolve at all times so you don't have to worry about casting. That's a very good one to run. If you want more weapon damage, then you can go for sets that give you more weapon damage. This is just what I prefer to run. Choices are yours to make. So then, continuing on into shoulders, we end up putting a Max Magicka enchantment here with the Sturdy to reduce the cost of blocking. The waist, we end up going Max Magicka here as well with Sturdy trait. Hands, this is a Max Stam enchantment with Sturdy trait. All of our small pieces, being the shoulder, waist, hands, and feet, are sturdy with our legs being reinforced. Our chest should also be reinforced, but I have it as infused at the moment. The legs, we end up putting Max Magicka enchantment here. For feet, we end up going Max Magicka enchantment here as well. Over into accessories, we have Magicka recovery on all 3 pieces. Yes, this is a gold enchantment. These 2 are not gold enchantments, so we'd actually have a little bit more Magicka recovery there as well, with all healthy traits as well to boost up our max health to where I needed it at. Go over into champion points. Starting in the green tree at the tower, we have 67 points into Warlord. This reduces the cost of break free by 22%. In the lover, we have 43 points into tenacity. This increases our stam. Fully charged heavy attacks restore 10% more. In the shadow, we have 63 points into tumbling. This reduces the cost of roll dodge by 21%. And 67 points into shadow ward. This reduces the cost of blocking by 22%. Over into the blue tree, starting with the apprentice, we have 100 points into blessing. This increases our healing done by 15%. Over in the Astronaut, we have 33 points into physical weapon expert. This increases our damage done with our one-handed shield by 19%. And Master at Arm, this increases our damage done with direct damage attacks by 20%, with 56 points into Master at Arms. In the Ritual, we have 40 points into Pure Strikes. This increases our critical damage and critical heal with stand-based abilities by 16%, and 10 points into Piercing to increase our physical penetration by 1,000 points. Over into the red tree, we have 48 points into the Ironclad. This reduces our damage taken against direct damage attacks by 18%. Over into the Lady, we have 50 points into Thick Skin. This reduces damage taken from damage over time effects by 18%. 56 bolts into Hardy and Elemental Defender. Hardy reduces damage taken by physical, poison, and disease damage by 12%, and Elemental is reduced damage taken from flame, frost, shock, and magic damage. Thick Skin here, if it's a damaged over time ability that is Magicka based, these 2 will stack up. If it's now physical based, it will now stack with Hardy. Same goes with Ironclad. Ironclad, if it's a direct damage that is Magicka based, they will stack. If it's physical, then Hardy and Ironclad will stack. This is how these champion points there work. Over into the Lord, we have 18 points into Bastion. This increases the effectiveness of our damage shields by 8%. And then Heavy Armor Focus, this 12 points here. This increases our physical and spell resistance by 1,100. And there you have it for the Paladin of Akatosh. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.